What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to do something a little different. Before I get started, if you don't know me, my name is Pedro.
My name is Jenny.
And regarding what we're going to do that's different about this video is we're going to do something like a sort of like a mini podcast. So I don't want to overextend like 30 minutes, but anywhere from 20 to 35 minutes would be the range for these videos, you know? So to get started, I kind of wanted to do like each separate video kind of who we are in sort of like a condensed but not too or I said in like a long form, so somewhat in like a long format, but you know, not too long because we don't want to bore you guys, but
love the honesty.
Yeah.
Okay.
But no, today's gonna be specifically on Jenny, and we're gonna get to know who she is and what she's all about, and yeah, so who are you? Who is Jenny?
Jenny's Jenny. My name is Jenny. Well, my name is Jennifer, but we don't know her. We don't go by her. My name is Jenny, okay? I'm 21 years old, and I'm not from Ecuador, but I'm Ecuadorian. My parents are from Ecuador, though. And yeah, what I do, in case you're wondering, I am a lead hostess, at a restaurant in the suburbs, Minnetonka, Minnesota. And I've kind of just been doing that ever since I was 16. It was hosting wasn't my very first job. Busing was, but we don't talk about her. I hated busing. Hosting isn't any better, okay? But I've kind of made progress and I've come a long way. I've, gotten into like a leadership role at my current job. Why are you laughing?
Keep going. Okay.
But yeah, so that's my life so far. And then I moved in with Pedro, so here I am a few years later, and we're living our life with 2 pups and an apartment.
Right.
Yeah. What's so funny?
Nothing. Alright, let's take it back. Let's take it way back. If you guys didn't know, Jenny is not from Minnesota, though. Jenny is from New York. Specifically, Brooklyn. Specifically, the ghetto.
Specifically, the trenches. The hood.
That is
literally the hood.
That's where the term trenches came from the boroughs of New York.
Yeah.
But take us back. How was from when you actually were able to realize, hey, I'm a human being, I'm self-conscious now. I don't know about you, but for me it was like boom, at the age of like 6, that's when I realized I was conscious and I started remembering stuff. But from the very first moment you were able to remember, New York Jenny. How was New York Jenny? How was life back then? How was New York back then? How was, your family and everything back then?
Well, let me just start by saying that New York is not, at least New York as a whole. I was going to say specifically Brooklyn, but I feel like New York all around has always been just such a crazy city and state overall that I don't feel sleep. No, it literally, when they say that, they mean that, because it's there's at least a rat or a fucking roach for a moment or something.
I think they specifically meant for people because, there's just so much going on. There's so much light. It doesn't sleep, but...
no, literally, though. There's always something going on. There's always something going down, I swear. I feel like it's not a place where you want to raise a family, if I'm being honest. Unless you're, living in, the suburbs, I don't know. Even then.
Is it because of how, your life growing up is why you say, it's not a place to raise a family, or, what?
Basically.
Take us through that. Take us, why you say, from your personal experience, why New York maybe isn't the place, or at least back then wasn't the place to want to raise a family.
Yeah, I would say, basically, the big picture, is because I don't know, I've heard it's gentrified now, but at least back in the days, it was just not first off, we lived in the closet, okay? Like, we literally lived in this narrow, like, ass apartment that was, like, we didn't even have our personal space. Like,
right. How many rooms was it?
It was a 2-room, 1-bathroom apartment.
Okay, 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom.
But it was literally, like, as soon as you enter the apartment, the kitchen's there. You look to your right, the living room's there. You go through the door straight past the living room.
Mm-hmm.
And it was me and Christian's room, my older brother, which, let's just say, like, how would you feel if you had to share your room with your 8-year-old sister at the time? Mind you, he was already in, like, high school. Which is weird.
Right.
We had bunk beds and stuff, and it's like, I'm sure he wanted to do his own thing, and it's one of those things where, like, none of us had privacy. So, yeah.
Dang.
It was really bad, though. Really run down. Gunshots at, like, 2 a.m., 4 a.m.
Like Chirac?
Yeah, worse. This was back when Chirac wasn't even a thing. So, I don't know.
I mean, I don't know. Can't comment on that, but yeah, it was really small. How was what were the key things you remember, growing up as time went on, living in New York? Like what moments that you really remember strongly that's, kind of made you who you were, or if not, what are just some memories that that stuck with you along the way?
Being with my dad. I feel like that one's, like, the biggest thing. Like, every single memory that I do have, like, from the point that I was, like, I guess, like, very self-conscious, like, of what was going on around me was literally, like, they all consisted of, like, something with my dad.
Right.
So I would say... Sorry, what was the question again?
Like, give us a memory. Give us, like, a memory. You say like key moments is being with your dad. What is, like, a memory that you can recall very vividly, young Jenny being with her dad?
Him taking me to school. Because, well, let me just start off by saying my dad was a stay-at-home dad. Well, eventually, because when he first landed here, well, not here, New York, and from Ecuador, he was working in construction, and then I think that's all he really knew. I mean, way before construction, though, I know that he did mention that he started in the restaurant industry, and he didn't really like that, so that didn't last not even a day.
Right.
And he then proceeded to go into construction, did that, and unfortunately he got into a on-site kind of work accident, which, gave him opportunities elsewhere. Just put it like that. But yeah, so it was just one of those things where he, unfortunately but fortunately, had to become a stay-at-home dad. And I mean, with that came a lot of, like, spending time with us. And, he basically raised me and my brother, and for the most part, I would say, because my mom, I don't think she was really in the picture as much, because obviously she was the breadwinner at the time. So I don't know. But it's just, I would definitely say that him constantly being in our lives and doing everything that he needed to do, from cooking, from cleaning, from making sure that we were good, like, everything, all of the above, it was everything consisted of my dad. So. And
that's what you kind of remember from New York?
Yeah.
Do you have any friends growing up, or, like, pets, or,
A pet rat. No,
a pet roach?
A pet roach.
A pet roach.
We did have a rat that lived with us.
And you knew it was the same rat the whole entire time?
Yeah. She, I don't fucking know, big ass rat. The New York rats are huge, so. But they lived somewhere in the stove, always.
It's where he probably had that gas stove and it, was heated in there.
Basically. But, yeah, no, friends. Definitely had a lot of friends growing up. Yeah, it was great. Again, my dad always taking me to the park after school, straight to the park to play with my friends. I wish we had those pictures. He always used to take pictures of me at the park playing. Yeah. That man was really, like...
Just in case you got kidnapped?
Yeah, huh?
Be like, this is how she looks.
No, but I love him. I feel like every memory just, it always kind of like, it just brings like very good vibes. He was definitely a good father.
Yeah.
To us.
That's nice, yeah. So, from, being born and raised in New York, you got all these, you had a lot of core memories with your dad, more often than your mom, he'd take you to school, take you to school, would he drive you to school, or how would you guys get to school, like walk, or?
No, we would walk there.
You'd walk there?
I mean, my elementary school was literally a block away. I think the only thing that separated our like apartment complex and the school was a park.
Oh,
that was
damn.
It. Yeah, it was literally walking distance. Yeah, so he would take me every morning. He would walk me to school, and it's funny because he would, at one point, I think I was already like in 4th, 5th grade, he started to tell me to walk myself, and I was too scared because hello, we live in the hood, sir. Why would I walk
4th,
myself?
5th grade. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so I was like, no, babes, I'm not walking myself, and I would cry, and he'd be like, fine, let's go.
Why would he not want to take you to school?
Well, it just got to the point where sometimes he had to go to physical therapy, and he had things that he has to also kind of take care of for himself that it would kind of interfere, and it would Christian would take him or go with, and I never really had anybody to take me to school because my mom was already at work by 5 a.m., 6 a.m. So it was one of those things where he was like, okay, well now you have to be independent.
At 4th or 5th grade, what are you 9 or 10, 11? No, 9 or 10, right? Oh yeah, maybe around 10, 11.
Yeah, 10, 11. Yeah. No, and it's funny because I would always tell my dad, I was like, no, I'm scared I'm gonna get kidnapped, and you saw how big I was back then. He'd be like, ¿Quién te va a querer, cara de papa? Yeah. He was like, ain't nobody want to kidnap you, girl. Do you see yourself? He was fat shaming.
I feel like...
But it was one of those fat, funny fat shaming things. When you're a kid, he'd be like, who wants you anyways? Why would you ever get kidnapped? And I was like, no, I'm gonna get kidnapped.
Just because you're roly-poly, that's why.
And actually, a little story time, because I did almost get kidnapped. Remember that story?
I do remember that story.
So just a little quick recap. We lived in the 2nd floor of the complex, and then on the 3rd floor, right above us, lived an older... They weren't a couple. They were best friends, childhood best friends, and I think they were Cubans, and Cubans or Dominicans. Anyways, they grew old together, and they ended up living on the 3rd floor with us, and super sweet people. I actually looked up to them as grandparents, because obviously I didn't have my grandparents here. All of them were in Ecuador and stuff, so they were all that I ever knew, and so I would treat them and I would call them my grandparents. Well, for the most part, literally, it almost felt like I lived with these people, literally. That's why I honestly was under the impression that they were my grandparents, because I literally lived with these people. I don't think I've ever slept over, but I've been there I would stay there from the moment I got home from school to 10, 11 p.m. at night. And we would play bingo, we would play dominoes, we would play card games. All the old people games. And well, the thing is, I think they were Dominican Cubans. Those motherfuckers are some badasses and addicted to, playing those. Yeah, they will literally go hard and they take that shit so serious. So, yeah, we would play that for hours. And
how do you play cards and dominoes for hours?
Dude, it's funny because I was addicted. I loved it. That's all I ever went over for. That and their food. And, well, there was this one time. So, grocery shopping in New York, I don't know if they still do it, but for the most part, if you want to get it delivered, they have a delivery option. And they would come knocking on the door. They would let you know in advance, hey, we're down here, let us in. And because I was always going grocery shopping with them or my parents, and it was always the same market down the block, that I knew the delivery guys and they knew me, so they would always like greet me, be like, oh, ¿cómo estás, niña? Like whatever. And then I would say hi to all of them. Well, this one specific time, that day, they're like, oh, mija, like the grocery guys like are here to deliver our food. Like, do you mind opening the door? Mind you, the lady, she had, her foot was amputated, so she couldn't really like.
Did she have a wooden peg or something?
No, or actually I don't remember, but she would walk around with a cane, but she had a foot amputated. And then the guy, he was older, so of course, me being the kid that I am, I was like, no, yeah, like absolutely, I'll go open the door. So I go downstairs, and as I'm approaching the door, I see this guy who's like bald, kind of like chunky, short dude. I think he had like a black shirt, definitely like denim jeans, and he's just like standing there, like looking through it was like a glass door. Oh. And I'm approaching it slowly, but I don't recognize this dude. I'm like, he's a delivery guy? Like, I've never seen him in my life.
Right.
Again, I knew the guys that would deliver our food, so I'm like, who is this?
Mm-hmm.
Well, so I opened the door, and this man he didn't even let me, okay, like, fully open that door. No, as soon as, like, just a crack, this man pushed that door open, and then he grabbed me by my hand, and he was like, get your fucking ass over here. And he, like, literally pulls me towards him. And me puse las pilas, and so I bit the shit out of his hand.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, I bit the shit out of his hand, and I turned around so quick. My fucking chanclas came off. I did not go back for those. I was like, fuck that, I'm out. And as I'm running up the stairs, all I hear from him is, get the fuck back, you fucking white bitch. And I was like, what the? First off, babes, I'm not white. Second, no, I'm taking my ass back upstairs. But yeah, and the rest is history. I never told my parents. I never ever told my parents about that incident until probably like 5 years later. So like closer, no. Yeah, when I was like 15 and we finally moved here, like I finally opened up about that, and they're like, why did you not say nothing? Like, we could have called the cops, but man, it's New York. You're never gonna find him. No, but if you're watching this, sir, no, for real, because he got me so fucked up. That's trauma right there. But that's why I bit your hand.
Right now, so if you see a bald guy who's short and chunky that has a bite mark on his hand,
that was me. Me.
Anyways,
but yeah.
So moving on from all that, all your experience in the hood, when did your family decide to move to Minnesota, and why Minnesota?
Well, I believe a year after Christian graduated high school.
So what year was that?
This was back in like 2012, 2013.
Okay.
No, 2013, yeah. We have family here, so we had like all of my uncles from my mom's side. Oops, sorry, Oakley. My uncles from my mom's side. My dad has a lot of cousins that literally came to Minnesota. Like, honestly, in New York, we really only had one of my aunts, one of my mom's sister. And that was it. We didn't have family like that over there. So all of our family was based here, and I remember they convinced my parents to come visit at least, because me and Christian never met our uncles. We never met any of my dad's cousins, like nothing. So then we booked a trip for all of us to come visit, and I remember that my dad, both my parents, like they immediately loved it. Like, hello, compare Brooklyn to this. Like, this literally like was luxury to them. They were like, oh my god, like this is the suburbs. Like they landed in Columbia Heights and they're like, this is the suburbs. This is rich area. We talking big money, and it's like, you know, for someone who comes from nothing and living in a closet, this sure is luxury. Like it was one of those things where they were like, yeah, this is a life. And well, it's not like we had anything, or like especially then, they didn't really have anything going for them over there, that it was kind of like, yeah, let's just do the move. And you should see my face. You should see.
Yo, bro, why do you do that?
Sir.
Oh my god, right in your face too and everything.
He said,
you've been holding on to the ball too much.
oh yes, I'm so sorry. Go get it.
Okay. Right,
Oh.
so yeah, Columbia Heights. What the heck? Oh, because you had your family, right?
So then I remember immediately my uncles were like, yes, like absolutely, like come live here, like you're gonna love it, and you're closer to family. So then literally on that trip that we came to visit, my dad gets a hold of a real estate agent.
Mm-hmm.
And they start talking, you know, like money moves. Like, okay, like I'm interested in specifically here, like Columbia Heights, Fridley area.
Yeah, he wanted to get like a house or something. Right.
And so she was like, no, absolutely, like we'll stay in touch, and you know, like you go back to New York, get everything situated so that you can finally move over here. Like it was starting to get official.
Right.
So yeah, so we spent I think about 1 to 2 weeks here in Minnesota, and then we went back to New York, and I don't think we even lasted a month over there before we like. I think it was like immediate, like it was up and go. Like probably by the second week that we got back from Minnesota.
You guys started packing.
That and my dad like reached out to our landlord and was like, "Hey, we're leaving. Like we're gone."
Oh yeah, he was like he didn't want to stay there no more.
Yeah.
Like any longer.
And yeah, no, he was sad. Our landlord was funny back in New York. He was I believe he was Polish.
Really?
Yeah, so he had a very strong accent, and that man was hilarious. Like that man would walk in like he well, I mean he did own the campus, but like he would come in like he lived with us. He would come in, my mom would be cooking, and he like destapa la olla, and he like, what are you making? I'm like, sir, this ain't your house. Like you literally just like barging into our place and just testing our food. Like he literally would ask my mom, like, can I taste your food? My mom would like give him a plate, and he would eat with us sometimes. That man was funny. His name is Mike. Shout out to Mike.
Shout out to Mike, the Polish guy.
If you're watching this, that man was rich though.
Was he? Probably,
mm-hmm. But yeah, so
the Polish people, man.
Oh, he definitely owned a couple other complexes.
Complexes.
So we weren't the only complex that he owned. But
right.
Yeah. So yeah, it was a up and go. We were gone like fucking. Yeah, like ants. We dispersed. Long gone.
Like rats.
Como si la migra estaba atrás de nosotros.
They probably were too.
Literally, it was like immigration was called on us, and we were like bounce.
Bounce, literally halfway across essentially
the
states. Yeah. Wow. So then, how was Minnesota? How have you, from what 2013 to you were 16? What was Jenny like? What did you do? Who did you turn into? All that stuff. Your journey.
Middle school was I got bullied. For the most part, or like it wasn't out of pocket, but like just your childish ass, like we had uniforms when. Come to find out the middle school that like my mom had enrolled me here, and I was so mad because I was like, out of all the middle schools you could choose from, you chose the one that wears uniforms. And she was like, well, that makes it that much easier, like that you don't have to think about what you're gonna wear that morning. And I'm like, girl, well yeah, but now I gotta stare at this ugly, like it was like khaki pants and a freaking navy blue shirt.
Like every freaking seems like every school that has uniform or dress code has that.
And the thing is too, it wasn't even like it was a private middle school, babes. It was a public middle school. Wearing uniform.
That one public middle school that just does things differently.
No, literally, and I'm just here like, okay, like what is, and then skinny jeans weren't allowed, and so my mom would buy me these like wide ass fucking pants to wear, and they were so oversized on me, and I looked like a fucking bum. I looked so disgusting. They would drag sometimes.
She said, "You'd grow into it."
No, that's literally what she said. That's literally what she said. Those Hispanic moms are like, pero te va a dar en like 10 años. I'm like, babes, that's 10 years from now.
The pants gonna all be faded, holes. The pocket's gonna be.
That's like me buying maternity clothes right now. Like, who knows?
10 years down the road.
Maybe it'll like. Inflation will go up, so maybe I won't afford it later. So I'm gonna just get it now. It's like, no, like why are you thinking about that? Yeah. So I was just like, bruh. So yeah, she would have me wear these like thick ass like pants. Oh, and she was one of those parents that like would always make me go to summer school every summer in middle school. Every summer. Like, I wasn't a bad student. I would say I was probably like C average, B average. I mean, I wasn't bad, but she was like,
C's get degrees.
Yeah, that is true. And, well, no, so she would just tell me, like, well, you don't do anything during the summer, and I'd rather you go and, you know,
go be great.
Sit in a classroom for fun. And I'm like, okay. So, yeah. I mean, then high school came, met new people, you know, made friends.
Lost friends. Now you're alone.
No, I'm not alone. I still have AJ. Shout out to AJ. AJ's my boo. I love him.
I don't know why I felt the need to tell her, but I told her when we first met that, like, I told her that her, like, unfortunately, your friend group wouldn't last, and she was so adamant that, nah, we're tight, we never this, never that, and then
things happen.
Yeah, I mean, it's just life, because nobody knows. Like, after, like, when you're in the moment, you don't know what's going to happen in the future, right? But I already knew because I had graduated, 2 years before you? Yeah. So, I had 2 years kind of, like, into the future of how it would turn out just because everybody does things differently. Like, you know, some people go to school, some people work, some people, you know, move, some people do, you know, different things. So, it's like, it's no longer, like, you guys are all going to the same place for 9 hours. And then after, it's like, oh, nothing's happening. It's like, all right, now that 9 hours is going to be filled. 9 hours is going to be filled either with working or with, you know, whatever you're doing. So.
Yeah, and I mean, I get that because then literally as soon as I graduated high school, like, I feel like life shifted a lot. Like, a lot changed. Like, more responsibilities. You kind of are in that, like, growing up mindset. So you want to kind of do your own thing more. And, you know, like, literally the only friendship that came out of high school was literally AJ. That was it. Like, that is the only friend that has stayed true to, you know, I guess, themselves and, you know, me. Mm-hmm. So I'm just, yeah. It's been a journey. But, yeah, after high school, went to college for about 2 years.
Yeah, like a year and a half.
Year and a half.
Got in a car accident.
Got into a car accident.
Fucked up her back, her neck. She's like, ah.
I did not do it. Well, yeah, kind of, sort of. But, you know. I wish there was other ways I would have, you know, cracked my back. But, unfortunately,
shit happens.
People don't know how to drive out here.
Right.
In Minnesota, specifically, especially once winter hits. You slipping and sliding, babes. You're not driving. You let the ice do the job. So,
yeah, that's that Midwestern life right there, or at least any place that gets snow or ice on the road. So
yeah, so kind of a college dropout, but hey, school is not for everybody, and honestly,
a lot of people don't even use the degrees too. So it's like at the end of the day, and what you wanted to do too, what was it, criminal justice?
I was going for a criminal justice degree.
Your intentions were to be an officer, which it made sense why you would have chosen that degree. But after you decided not to pursue that job, I think, you know, obviously with everything else that happened, I think it was the right decision that you didn't go back because, like, there's so many people out there that have that degree and just can't find anything for a job.
Or it's like that's the most, or like the highest you'll get, the highest you'll be. Mm-hmm. And honestly, I'm kind of the type of person that I would want to find a job where I can, you know, make progress and go up as I go. And I feel like
tech,
you know, thank you. I don't know, it's just one of those things where I feel like I specifically was just going for that police officer kind of role. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't really gonna get much, like, I don't know. And honestly, with everything that was going on back then, because my first semester of college, or like my first year of college was like 2020 into 2021. And I think 2021 is when like the whole like George Floyd and like the Black Lives Matter movement happened. And I don't know, that kind of enlightened me to like a lot of things. And I just didn't want to associate myself with that.
Right.
So, I don't know.
Right.
It's a very sensitive thing that I feel like it's just not, especially in that field, like there's just so much corruption and so much that I just disagree with. Right. So okay. I didn't want that to, I guess, like, identify me as a person, because like I definitely don't associate myself with that, and I'm not a pig, okay? So and I ain't snitching. so yeah.
Well, in 5 years or in the future, like, what would where do you want to see yourself in life? What's future Jenny's? Where do you see future Jenny at?
I would definitely want to say future me, just 5 years, or like,
I guess just in the future, just future you. Yeah.
Well, I would say by like my late 20s. I hope we're still together.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely still want us to be going, strong, and possibly maybe more puppies, and definitely not kids yet. I don't think that. I feel like both me and you are on the same page as far as like when we would be ready for kids, or when we're not necessarily ready, because you're never ready for kids, but like when we would want to proceed with something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say like early 30s.
Yeah.
If anything.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know. Life's hard, babes. I can't.
Not a human baby.
No. I'm struggling out here just for me and you, so.
As much as we love dogs, they have limited time.
Oh,
Kids,
yeah.
it's like, damn, it's like once you have them, you're gonna die. The goal is that you die before them, because they outlive you, but.
Yeah.
That's forever.
But, so that, and I would say hopefully, doing YouTube, and, continuing to do YouTube, even if it takes us another 5 years, and. Who knows? Mm-hmm. Honestly, just kind of. It'd be fun to kind of look back on this video of us saying this.
Right. Just gotta put in the work.
Yeah.
Can't be scared.
No, please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well.
So.
All right then. Well, there you have it. You got a little glimpse into Jenny's life. If you have any more questions or want to hear specific stories on like. What happened after she got kidnapped, or maybe even the down deep and dirty too of like other stuff that's happened.
She's not here. The same
Feel free to let us know in the comments down below, but
follow me on all my social media platforms if you want to continue to keep up with me and my life, our life.
Oh, and the doggies too.
And the doggies.
Aussie Pit Pals on TikTok and YouTube.
I did make a TikTok for them, Aussie Pit Pals.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you'll kind of just be up to date with that. Oakley's birthday is this upcoming weekend, and I'll be posting a little surprise that I have for him, and a couple other things.
Right.
On a full vlog, but whatever happens. You guys will see that though. Mm-hmm. But yeah. So.
Well, all right then. There you have it. Until next time.